Hello, I'm Ben, and my book was Drive, The Surprising Truth About What Motivates Us by Daniel H. Pink. So, overall, the book was pretty good. There are some things that I wish he could have expanded on more. I'll get to that later, but I like the book overall. So one of the big ideas is type 1 or type I and type X behavior. And these behaviors fuel different motivation operating systems. So type X behavior fuels motivation that centers around seeking reward and avoiding punishment. And this has more of a focus on extrinsic desires such as rewards like money or any kind of rewards for doing something. While type I behavior focuses on the motivation that we as humans, we have a natural drive to seek, to learn, create, and better the world. So this focuses more on intrinsic desires. So one study that sort of studied how rewards affect our motivation was done by Mark Lepper, David Green, and Robert Nisbet, and they did a covert naturalistic non-participant observation. So basically, they observed preschoolers who enjoyed spending their free time drawing during school, and then they split them up into three groups. It was an expected award group where they told the children that they would get an award for drawing, an unexpected award where they just let them draw and then they gave them an award after without them knowing, and then there was just no award where they didn't get an award at all for drawing. And then 2 weeks later, back in the classroom, they observed the children covertly during their free play time, and they found that the unexpected award group and the no award group, they drew just as much as they did before with the same enjoyment, but the expected award group, since they had no award, they spent less time drawing and showed less interest while drawing. This is important and it's really fascinating because it just shows us more about the idea of how rewards can turn play into work. I mean, this is kids we were talking about. When I was a kid, I did everything without. I didn't think of anything as work. So, just shows a lot about the danger of rewards. The study is good. One of the strengths is its high ecological validity. It wasn't done in a lab. It was done in the classroom setting where the children often worked. One problem with it, though, is confirmation bias. So when the researchers were observing the children, since they already knew what children were in the expected award group, they could have overseen like the fact that they showed less interest while drawing and that they spent less time drawing. Another big idea of the book is mastery. So Pink talks about three ways we can shift from type X to type I behavior, and one of these ways is mastery. So he defines mastery as becoming better at something that matters, and mastery starts with flow, and this allows us to become more engaged with the thing we're trying to master, and we can achieve this flow through doing stuff that is not too hard or not too easy, just right. It's called a Goldilocks task. And after we're engaged, there's three main parts to mastery. One is mindset. In class, we talked a bit about growth mindset, Carol Dweck's theories. The next part of it is that mastery is a pain. There's a lot that goes into it, and it's not going to be sunshine and rainbows all the time. And the last part is that it's an asymptote. So like in math, excuse me, it's basically like a line that you can never reach, that the graph will never reach. So basically, mastery is essentially unattainable. That makes it frustrating, but also very fun at the same time. I mean, when I think about professional athletes, I think they have reached mastery, but it's interesting to think about how they haven't based on this book. So one of the studies that kind of focuses on the like how mastery is it's kind of a struggle, it's a pain. Was done by Angela Duckworth, Christopher Peterson, Michael Matthews, and Dennis Kelly. So each summer, about 1,200 young Americans they arrive at the U.S. Military Academy at West Point to begin 4 years of study. And before they actually go into the classroom, they go through 7 weeks of cadet basic training, or which is also called the Beast Barracks. So it's pretty tough stuff. And by the time summer ends, 1 in 20 of these Americans drop out. So these researchers wanted to find what was the biggest determining factor um, for one of these young Americans to stay in the program. And above all, it was a non cognitive, non physical trait known as grit. And these researchers defined it as the perseverance and passion for long term goals. So this really was interesting because this is something that everyone can develop. You don't need physical strength, you don't need athleticism, or it's not all about those things. Like you don't need you don't completely need to rely on physical strength, athleticism, intellect, leadership, or well-roundedness. Everyone can develop grit, which is really fascinating because that means everyone can work towards mastery. There's no reason that you shouldn't try. Um, One advantage of the study was its high ecological validity, similar to the preschoolers I previously talked about. It wasn't done in a lab. It was it studied an actual real life event. So it's a natural experiment. Um, However, there is concerns for construct validity. Pink didn't really meant to discuss how they like measured grit. That it's kind of hard to measure grit based on the definition they gave. There are also concerns with external validity. This is just focused around military training and could be difficult to generalize these findings to other areas like sports and whatnot. So, finally, my takeaway from this book is definitely how I can use it in sports. So, my freshman year, when I started swimming, and our coach had us write goals, and I remember a lot of the goals that I wrote were you know kind of extrinsic, I guess, like reaching a certain time, um, or winning a race. So Pink kind of talks about how we should write more intrinsic goals rather than extrinsic goals. So that would be, I guess, staying like wanting to be more healthy, just wanting to be more fit in general. Because if you write an extrinsic goal, the theory is that as soon as you reach that goal, you're just gonna stop working. I mean, in all honesty, I mean, swimming is kind of different because once you reach that time, you're gonna want to reach a better time. But um, um, yeah. Some things that I kind of wanted Pink to expand on was how we can be more motivated in school. A lot of this book focused more on like the work environment, and not really about students. So I wanted to learn more about that, and I also wanted to hear more on like how to stay motivated in jobs other than like desk jobs. I think that was pretty much the main focus of this. So like I work at like a food service place, so I want to hear more about how I can stay motivated there. I know that's kind of a niche thing, but that's definitely something that I would want to learn more about. So, thank you.